guys, welcome back. Today we are making some hearty beef stew. It is cold. It went from 75 degrees yesterday to 35 today. It is windy, it is stormy, and I want something comforting. So, beef stew it is. And I did my meal planning a little different this week. I just put 3 different cuts of meat in my fridge to thaw, and that's the meat I get to use for my dinners for the week. And then I just use what's either in my pantry or left in my fridge or freezer. Because we're not going to go to the grocery store for at least another week or two. So, that's what I'm doing, and I had some stew meat in there, so today is beef stew. Now, the way that I like to do it, I have my Dutch oven heating up with some oil in it. I have some salt and pepper and some flour, and then I have 2 pounds of stew meat. And then I already have my beer laying out. I have a dark beer, and that we're going to use to deglaze. All we're doing, we are not cooking our meat, we are getting it nice and browned. And once it's browned, we'll deglaze and then throw in the vegetables. And let them saute for a minute, and then add in the rest of our stuff. Actually, no. I'm going to change that around a little. We're going to brown our meat, then take the meat out, throw in the vegetables, then deglaze with the beer. That's what we're going to do. Haven't had all my coffee yet, but that is okay. So, while this is browning, you want to cut up a large onion, carrots, just as many to your liking, or you can use canned. You can use canned for any of this. You can also do all this in a crock pot, which I've done before. But you want onion, carrots. I like to add in a little celery just to sneak it in. And potatoes, if you're going to put in potatoes. And that's really all there is to it. You can add fresh garlic if you want fresh garlic, or you can use garlic powder. It'll depend on what I have as to what I'll be using, but I will let you know here in a second. Alright, so hopefully you can have a little better lighting over here. I've taken the meat out, and you see it is in a bowl resting right there. I did not scrape out the pan. I added a little bit more oil and then put in my vegetables. So in here I have 1 large white onion. I have 4 to 5 red potatoes, so they're not huge, and then 4 carrots. I didn't have any celery. I thought I did. So I didn't put in any celery. But you can do your chunks any way you like. It's a really forgiving recipe. I do my chunks on the smaller side, so to give you an idea, like there's my finger and there's my chunks. Because I have little humans that I'm feeding. So I don't want them to choke, and I don't want to have to worry about giving them their bowl of stew, cutting up the pieces smaller. I just do it all in the beginning, and that's just how we have our stew. Okay, so these have gone for about 10 minutes, and they are starting to soften, but we don't want them cooked all the way through, because this is going to go low and slow. You could always do this, like I said before, with all canned goods, and it can come together really fast. I've actually, especially if you use the canned goods, my canned carrots and potatoes, it comes together super quickly. So, what you want to do now is deglaze the pan with your beer, and I put the whole thing in. And you can use any beer you like, but I find that a dark beer just gives so much more flavor than a light beer. So, that is what I always use when I'm using beer. Even if it calls for light beer, I still use dark beer. So, I'm going to let that get everything off the bottom of the pan. And now we're going to add in our seasonings, and then we'll add in our stock. So I'm adding parsley, onion powder, garlic powder. Now I need to buy more garlic powder. I'm adding in a little bit of sage, not a lot. A little bit goes a long way. A little bit of oregano. And some thyme. And then last, some bay leaves. And I really like bay, so I am doing 4 bay leaves. Excessive, maybe, but it's delicious. And we can always season more after. And I'm going to salt and pepper after because my beef stew, or my beef broth already has salt in it. I'm using beef base today. I am completely out of my home canned, you're fine. And I need to make more. And now that I have soup bones for my cow, I can do that. We're going to put 4 cups of stock in. So I'm going to do a nice helping of this base because I want it to have tons of flavor. We don't want a bland stock. And then go ahead, add our water. And this is going to make a big batch because I want my husband to be able to take it to work with him. And I want to be able to use it as leftovers for lunches for us as well. Get a little more. My coffee cup isn't quite 2 cups. Okay. So this, oh, and our meat. Add your meat back in. Carefully. And you can see it's not cooked through, but it does have a nice brown on it. Don't be afraid to get a crust on that because it will make it delightful. I promise you. You want, like, look at that. That is perfect right there. So, I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to put this on a medium-low. Right now it's on medium. I'm going to put it on medium-low and just let it slow cook over the stove for a few hours. And I will bring you back. We will taste test, see if it needs any type of salt or pepper or additional seasonings, and then serve it up with some cornbread. Okay, so this is what it looks like after going for a few hours. And you can see how much it's reduced down. Now, you can reduce it down further. All it's going to do is make your meat that much more fall apart and tender. But since this will be leftovers, I'm not worried about that because it'll get recooked and recooked every time I reheat it. So you can go ahead and get out your bay leaves. And then if you wanted to thicken it up more, you could always make a slurry with some of the liquid and flour. But I think it's perfect just the way it is. This is how I like it. And then also you have the breakdown of some of the potatoes, and that thickens it up as well. You could also just add potato flakes to it. That is delicious too. So we're going to get this plated up, and I'll show you what it looks like. It is way too hot to try, but I did taste test it, and it is perfect. It does not need anything. Get some vegetables, because I had to get some out and cool for my babies. That is what they are eating right now. And I have some cornbread in the oven. It is almost done. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you try it for yourself. It is so easy to make a delicious meal at home. And use what you have. Canned goods, fresh, frozen, anything will work for this. But let me tell you, that beer that we put in, it makes this dish. It makes it. Do not leave it out. I mean, you can, and just add a little more stock if you're completely against using alcohol. But the alcohol does cook off, and then you're just left with that wonderful flavor. So, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.